I have a box to open from those grand chaps at Amazon Prime. It's quite a wide box, as you can see, not particularly deep. There is an item in here that cost me £12.99. Here is the trusty yellow-handled knife. Loving you is easy 'cause you're beautiful. And let us now have a sizzle. Woo! I'll have to turn my back to you briefly, I think. Shouldn't take too long to open. Amazon boxes are never usually festooned with too much tape. Unusually for Amazon. They've given me rather a lot of padded air. This isn't a Funko Pop, as I think you would have gathered by now. It's double boxed, as I thought it would be. We've also got those. There's some light bulbs. Wow, exciting. I just needed some little bulbs for a couple of my lamps. I bought those at the same time, but that's not what we're looking at in this video. As you can tell from the shape and size, I think you know what this is going to be. Pull the tab there. No need for Slizzle to the Chamber of Secrets. So what we have, and I think this was a real bargain, when I saw it at this price, £12.99, had to have it. Oh yeah! Wow. It is on vinyl record, a remastered edition of the 1990s gangster rap classic All Eyes on Me by Tupac Shakur. Ah, marvellous. I was looking at albums on a different website actually. What with me getting a new record player recently, and I will link to that video in the description. I'd only really been buying second-hand records so far. I'd got a couple of new things, a lot of singles, and I wanted to start getting some actual albums on vinyl. And a lot of them are quite, I would say, a little bit overpriced for me, really. That's why the temptation is just, if I'm collecting them, then just to get them on compact disc, because they're always cheaper, even though they're not as tactile and as aesthetically pleasing. Now then, I'm not sure, I'll probably have to open it to double check, but there should be 4 discs in here, but there might only be 2. Looking at it, there's 4, because we've got Book 1 and Book 2, and then 4 sides for Book 1, and another 4 for Book 2, so to me that suggests 4 discs, 8 sides. So if that's the case, £12.99 for a 4 LP set, brand new as well, remastered. I think this actual edition's only been out a couple of years. That's marvellous. So All Eyes on Me by Tupac. This is an album that I'm pretty familiar with. To be honest, as far as hip-hop goes, I'm more Team Biggie than Team Tupac. But I do still like this album. It just evokes, for me, memories of a real exciting period in music. For hip-hop, but for music in general, because it was the mid-90s. You had sort of the rapid rise of Nirvana, followed by Kurt Cobain's Suicide. And then in this country, you were getting the guitar bands and Britpop taking over. In America, hip-hop was getting bigger, and of course, you had the beginnings of the West Coast, East Coast rivalry. And this was, of course, Tupac's first album for Death Row Records. Death Row head, Suge Knight, enabled Tupac to get out of prison earlier than expected, and he signed him to what seemed like a lucrative deal with the controversial and infamous Death Row Records. And this was his first album. My brother used to play this album all the time, that's why I'm familiar with it. I never actually owned this on any other format, but my brother had it on tape, I think, back in the day, and he loved it. Like I say, I do probably prefer Notorious B.I.G. ultimately, but when I saw this for £12.99, I just had to have it. I'm trying to decide now whether to just get it out and have a look. I don't know if it's gatefold. It's definitely a remaster. It doesn't say it anywhere. Oh, it does. There we are. Look, digitally remastered. Just to have this, have a copy of this on brand new vinyl is marvellous. In a way, with hip-hop and gangster rap, I almost find the stories behind the scenes, or not even behind the scenes, a lot of it played out in public, more interesting than the music, to be honest. There's some fantastic documentaries about it that are available. There's an episode of Hip Hop Evolution on Netflix that I would really recommend that anyone with even a passing interest watch, which covers sort of the origins of the East and West Coast feud. There's also the great documentary from, I think it was early 2000s, from Nick Broomfield, Biggie and Tupac. That's well worth a watch. And there's at least one, possibly a couple of other fairly good documentaries about it on Amazon Prime. I remember a lot of the tracks on it. I've not heard this album for quite a few years, so some of these I won't remember very well, but certainly the singles off this and a couple of the other tracks that I know my brother used to play repeatedly, I do remember. It's just, as a social document, this album is just fascinating, really. Kind of a lot of the misogynistic lyrics and excessive sort of violent posturing, it doesn't really hold up that well 20-something years later. But it's a great album, produced, I think it was produced by Dr. Dre, or some of it was produced by Dre. The executive producer, he puts himself a nice big credit there, is of course Death Row head Suge Knight. I don't show all my music purchases on my YouTube channel, but I had to show you this because I just thought $12.99 was an absolute steal. I can't figure out quite why it was so cheap compared to similar albums, particularly as this one has got 4 discs in it. I think I'm going to keep this sealed until I'm ready to play it, which will hopefully be later on today. And that's going to be it for me. Just wanted to quickly show you that. And like I say, if you're like me and you find all the story behind music history sometimes more interesting than the music, then do check out those recommendations on Netflix. I'll try and link to some of those in the description as well, if I remember. But that is going to be it for me. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to all my subscribers. I'm going to go now. Please do join me again for my next vinyl record unboxing. Wow, love it. Cheers everyone. See ya!